right, I'm back with more confirming. And I hesitated there for a second because I was trying to think of a more suffice word than confirming. More guilty as charged evidence as to what's going on here. I don't know if you're familiar or not with the Moab man. Have you ever have you ever heard of the Moab man? I had never heard of it either. And being how the last video I showed you that article that the IAA put out about that drawing, or whatever, with the people, the stick figures in the boat. You seen it in the last video. It wasn't nothing. I mean, all these all this wall art, if you will, that I'm about to show you it looks like elementary kids did it, but I understand it would be hard to depict what we're about to see on a rock. I get that, but compared to this Utah petroglyph stuff I'm about to show you, that thing we seen over there in that last video in the IAA Facebook post, it's pathetic. And look how they tried to convince you that it was depicting Christian pilgrims coming to the Holy Land, but at the same time never telling you the word confirming. They never did use the word confirmed evidence, did they? They made sure to cover their ass and use words like maybe and it may have been. Experts believe that it was. But when you read articles that are about all this Utah stuff, they always tell you, they send you off in the wrong direction. But notice this Moab man. They evidently, this guy's all over the place, and he is. You'll see, like, look back here, you can see. And what do you notice? What do you notice about him? What does this? I know who the Moab man was as soon as I looked at it, and I haven't read much about this guy, but nowhere that I have read have I seen anyone say that is the Baphomet. But it is. Look, as above, so below. See, one hand up, one hand down, right? And if you notice, they draw people with both hands down. That lets you know, like right here, if I can do this. Right here, this guy down here, see? He's got both hands down, but this one's got one up, one down, and there's their famous little swirly mark right there, and that has everything to do with child pedophilia. Yes, it does. That little swirl right there. Let me circle it for you. Right there. See it? Boom. That thing. You see them all over these rocks. There's the Baphomet right there. And look, for those of you who've been around and been paying attention, what's this look like? This thing right here that's on the wall. That's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Yes, it is. That's that mark. That's the snake slithering up, the serpent slithering up around the tree. That's what that is. And who would you think this is? This big figure over here that has a little person on this side of him, and it looks like a deer or a goat or something. And I would think it's a goat because all this wall art we're going to look at, it has goats, sheep and goats everywhere. So this tells me right here that that's Molech. That this guy right here, this is Molech. And you can see they're drawing, this is some kind of ritual that they're depicting. See all the people down here in the bottom? They're all dressed up, having a shindig, and you can tell, and one arm, one up, one down. Those two symbols I just showed you, the man with the figure with one arm up and one arm down, and that thing right there, that lets you know that this is a Molech, some kind of satanic ritual going on here, and that's the Baphomet. And these are Anasazi petroglyphs, right? And see how the people always had, the normal people always have both hands down. And if you're a believer and you read the word and you know about the Most High's name and stuff and the letters of his name, you should already see where this is going. And let me tell you, there's no drawings over there like that, over there in the Middle East, like this. Look at all the goats, the sheep or whatever, and that's probably Molech right there. And look at the serpent right there beside of it. See the serpent right beside Molech? And somebody over here with a bow, shooting a bow. But look at this one. This is the one I wanted you to look at. See how the man, he's got both arms down. So what do we see here? And this will prove to you, I can prove to you that what we just looked at was the Baphomet. And it is the congregation of Satan. It is what that star on that flag represents. That's Star of David. As above, so below. A man, they always draw a man with both arms down. How did they draw the Most High? With both arms up. Behold, it says, I am that I am, or however that went. They always draw the Most High with both arms up. They draw men with both arms down, and the Baphomet, these fallen angels, or whatever you want to call them, they draw him, the Baphomet, with one up and one down. That means it's their part divine or whatever, but it's not. It means more than that. That symbolizes what they were doing in those rituals, what their whole agenda is, what their motto is. It's the doctrine of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It tells you, yeah, don't listen to the Most High. He don't know. He's lying. Go ahead and do what you want to do. You can be just like the Most High. It's a lie that convinces you that you can be standing there with both arms up. You see? But you can't. You're a person. But look at this image on top. This tells me, this guy up here on the top, this tells me, this is telling us a story, and this guy was showing this guy the guy with his hand stretched out. It's like, look, he's showing these other people something, but look behind him right there. It's a flame in the sky, just like the story we've heard about. We've read in the word about them getting here. And look, this here tells you the story. Look at all those dots. Those signify like crops, and then that part right there in the middle signifies water. Right here, water there, crops here, you see. And then look, right above it, looks like a tree in the middle of that thing. Look at that. And this is the Anasazi, and I've proven to you guys that I've showed you the evidence that the Anasazi and what they call the Fremont Native Americans, they centered around the Provo, Utah area, the Wasatch Valley area, all down in like Springville, the southern valley area down there by Benjamin and all that. and Mount Nebo. And they did this thing, what the archaeologists say they called a residential cycling, because there's all kinds of evidence of that the people flowed in and out of that area to that area. When I first got here, I found out that when the Spanish arrived, that they met the Shoshone Native Americans, and it's Susan. When you read in the Bible about Shushan or Susan or whatever, it's the Shoshone. They were here, and the Spanish called them the sheep eaters, the goat eaters. They had sheep and lambs, and they told them of a city that was there. That was one of the first things I found. That was one of the first clues that led me to the truth of our home. Well, the Anasazi and the Fremont, I've showed you evidence that they did that thing called the residential cycling, where they came to that area and they mysteriously vanished. Both of them did. And the Anasazi were a lot like the Fremont Native Americans, but they were like they were crooks, and it was so bad. They were such bad people, I guess, that to the Native Americans in this region, I guess it was, or it still might even be, a derogatory term. The word Anasazi. It's controversial. It comes with like political correctness. You see what I'm saying? And they mimicked what the Fremont Native Americans did, who evidently were like good people, but they built these houses called the pit houses, where you came in through the roof, down through the roof, and they had a platform up there, just like in the Bible. And they would build a rail around the roof, just like in the Bible. Well, they were there, and they mysteriously vanished, and because some evil head somewhere, some like king, had it out for them and hunted them down until they were no more. They were eradicated. They were known for using obsidian knives, which is like one of the sharpest materials you could cut something with. And the Spanish, when they were searching, the conquistadors or whatever, they were searching, it's documented, they were looking for a fabled gold city, and they were on the trail. They were looking for the city. They were following a trail of obsidian knives that the Fremont and Anasazi had left. They were trying to find that fabled gold city by looking for evidence of the Fremont and the Anasazi people by looking for those knives, the obsidian knives. And I've showed you all kinds of evidence how the Smithsonian and Harvard and was it Columbia or one of them other Ivy League schools went through great lengths to cover up the evidence of what was out here. And then the Anasazi end up dwelling in the clefts of the rocks. That's what all these cliff dwellings are out here, down in like Moab and the Grand Canyon and all that. And there's evidence right there, all the evidence you want to see that what was going on. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that doctrine was going on back then, because this is where it all comes from, right here. These are all Moab petroglyphs, and its name's Moab for a reason. One thing I remember when I used to watch those documentaries about the guy over there that said he found like the Ark of the Covenant and all that. I can't think of his name right now, but they showed this rock where they say Mount Sinai is over there in Saudi Arabia or wherever. And they show this rock with the footprints on there. Well, there's all kinds of wall art out here and Moab, all out. And I'm sure there's tons that, man, you could just look for days. You could go out here and just, I bet there's stuff everywhere out here that these ancient people left, markings. But you'll be looking and you'll see feet print just like that right there on that picture, all over the place. And look, here's another man with his hands down, see? And look, there's a Y, or whatever letter. You can see that it's some kind of a Y right there. And you see their hands are down, and I'm not sure what that is up there behind him. But where does that come from? Where does that style of drawing come from right here? This is the Hebrew alphabet. That's the letter Hey that represents the Most High right there. Behold. See? That's where that comes from. And that's what you see all over out here in the Utah, Great Basin, Yahudah area. Now, I'm just gonna keep reading this. I'm gonna read you one chapter tonight on this fine Shabbat night. I'm gonna keep bringing any evidence that I find throughout the day to you guys here on this channel. It might not be pretty, the prettiest, but I'll do my best to share what I find with you in a timely fashion. What I just showed you in those pictures right there, I mean, what that reveals, it says a lot about our home, about this case that I've presented to you. And I've been presenting it for a long time, and I've brought a rich, evidence-rich case. But I'm going to keep bringing it. Who knows how much time we have to share this good news. So I'm going to try to make the most of every opportunity, of every, of what time I do have. Make the most of it and bring this good news to you. Germany just put out their war plan or whatever, and I mean, the way this is what I wanted to talk about. The way all the countries are talking about conscription right now, and I've been talking about that. I mean, y'all probably know about that, but if we've wondered what they've been waiting for to just go all out on this WW3, I think it was this D-Day celebration that they just had here the other day. Ever since then, and ever since that day, notice the war cry, the war drums, how they're pounding the war drums. They're talking like World War III is here. It's inevitable. We're here. It's a done deal. Everything's a go now. And you see now all the planning that they've been doing, you know what I mean? That all the pieces are in place. They're acting like they're doing it out one side of their mouth. They're saying they're doing it so they can be ready in a couple years, but out the other side of their neck, they're telling you that they're ready right now, that this is a go right now. And like that plan that Germany put out, they said that they're going to make it to where any man or anyone, I guess, 18 or older, if they're not fit for duty, they can't leave the country, and they might have to work at a job that supports the war machine, like making bombs or something in Germany or whatever. And all the countries are talking about it. Right now, Russia's sending a bunch of stuff to Cuba. I mean, you guys should see it. You shouldn't be under a rock. You should see what's going on. And the reason I brought up Germany is because I want you to remember about the Denver airport murals. And we were just talking about him here not too long ago. And I pointed out how the guy, the war guy that's laying on his side, he's wrapped in the German flag's colors. Remember that? And the guy pounding the sword into a plowshare is a little German boy. Remember? And the Asian guy in the black suit looks like the thing that Klaus Schwab wore to the World Economic Forum. The Asian guy, and he's in the suit like Klaus Schwab had on, and he's holding the sword, the weapon, and the German boy's beating it in to a plowshare. Just keep that in mind. They're gonna be a key player in all of this. Germany is, and why not? Look who they are. Look at Operation Paperclip. Look at all that's went down. Look at, I mean, you should know. I shouldn't have to tell you. But before I start reading this, chapter 21, I want to remind you that this is a riddle. It's a code. This isn't literal. What we're about to read here about the renewed heaven and earth and the Jerusalem coming down like a bride, I got to strongly, or however you would say it, plead with you to understand, to not ever think literal mode when we're reading this. You have to understand that the renewed Jerusalem is not, I repeat, it is not going to float down out of the sky and land on the ground, a new city. This is a riddle. The truth, that what this is talking about is the truth. The way everything is right now, the way you think the earth is going to be, the life as we know it is going to be erased. It's going to disappear. And what he's talking about here is what is going to come next, what the earth is going to look like next. He's not talking about destroying the earth and then but still parking another city coming down out of the sky. He's not. So bear with me. We're going to take take a little bit of time on this. Not too much, but we're going to break this down Berean style to the best of our ability because it's our duty. And one thing you're going to learn from this chapter is what the Most High hates. One thing that's prevalent right now. That's one of the most. It's the worst sin that any of us could commit right now in this great time that we're in, with the state of the world right now. Anyone who commits this horrible, wicked, it's wicked and evil sin, they're headed for that cliff, no doubt. Watch what it says. And I saw a renewed heaven and a renewed earth, for the former heaven and the former earth had passed away, and the sea is no more. And I, John, saw the set apart city, renewed Jerusalem, coming down out of the heaven from the mighty Most High, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the heaven saying, See, the booth of the Most High is with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their Most High. And the Most High shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, nor mourning, nor crying. And there shall be no more pain, for the former matters have passed away. And he who was sitting on the throne said, See, I make all matters new. And he said to me, Write, for these words are true and trustworthy. And he said to me, It is done. I am the Aleph and the Tau, the beginning and the end. Isn't that a coincidence that we were just looking at those pictures of the men with their arms down? He's the Aleph and the Taw. The reason he's telling you this is because he's the Word. The Word is telling you this. The Word is saying, come read me, and your instructions are inside me. You have to read me and understand these riddles in order to find your deliverance. That's why he tells you I'm the Aleph and the Taw every time. He's telling you to take it from the top and get the context, baby, every single time. And where we go wrong, how we err, is when we deviate, when we take it from verse 12 of chapter 8, we get that verse and we preach for 2 years on that verse when we never get the context. That's where we go wrong, because we inject our opinion onto the word instead of us being hungry Berean style, trying to search for the answers within the word. Then when he says I'm the Aleph and the Taw, he's screaming the emphasis on trying to get you using the emphasis to try to get you to understand how important it is to read all of the word. It's the reason they ate all of the lamb in Egypt on Passover. It's the reason you're to eat it all in Jerusalem on Passover. The lamb is the word telling you to come back home. It all tells you to come back home. But until you understand that the lamb's the only one worthy to open the scrolls, you're not going to understand. The scrolls will be sealed. All this truth is going to be sealed from you until you read it with the following the lamb. If you follow the lamb, it's opened up. Those books open to you. To the one who thirsts, I shall give of the fountain of the water of life without payment. That's what we were looking at on that. Let's go back there real quick on that wall art right there. Boom. That's what that is. And go look at it. Keep looking at it, and you'll see that that's why them little waves are right there. Look, this is the fountain. This is home. This is talking about us getting there. Look at the mountains at the bottom, everything, the river coming down here. See it? All that stuff. That's what this is. And there's so much more proof. Look at the lost Deca stone or whatever with all the commandments on it. Look at the way the Hebrew writing looks. It's the same. It's all the same. And that's what the word tells us. That's what he's talking about. When the new earth, he saw a new earth, the renewed Jerusalem. That's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing the truth of her being brought back to light. That's what it means when it says that the city had no need of the sun or the moon, because the Most High and the Lamb was its light. The Lamb, this is all a riddle. See? The fountain of the water of life without payment. And it is, when you come in and come out, you're with the Most High. He's dwelling with you. You're dwelling with him. You're doing what he does and his children do. And we don't deviate. We don't have time for nothing. None of that nonsense. Everybody else out here, they don't have time for him because they're overwhelmed with all the nonsense. They're submerged in the nonsense. It's past their eyeballs. But to the one who overcomes shall inherit all this, and I shall be his mighty Most High, and he shall be my son. And now here, this verse 8 right here, this is where you need to pay attention. If you've been listening to this, if you're hearing this right now, pay close attention to what this verse says. You make sure you do the opposite of what verse 8's talking about. Because he said, the one who overcomes shall inherit all this. But as for the cowardly and untrustworthy and abominable and murderers and those who whore. So all through here, through the word, you can see that the opposite of someone who overcomes, who is trustworthy, is cowardly and untrustworthy, which makes them abominable, because their pride prevents them from being brave and trustworthy, putting their childlike faith into action and actually doing this work. They chicken out. That right there, knowing what you know, if you've seen the truth and if you've brushed it under a rug and just tried to act like you didn't see what you just saw, that's the worst thing. That's the worst type of person. Wouldn't you agree? If you hide this truth or don't put this truth to good use and get out here on the mountains and proclaim this good news, you've got blood on your hands. You've caused a great injustice. I hate to tell you that, but that's the truth. Now, you don't want to paint that with too broad of a stroke. There's, women, I'm not saying women are obligated to get out here and share this message with a man, because there's rules and lines to this stuff, isn't there? So, but women would be responsible to share this with other women, young women. I would most definitely say that's for sure. So, we're all obligated, though, to do our part. We all must follow the Lamb. And following the Lamb involves not being cowardly or untrustworthy. And drug sorcerers and idolaters and all the false, their part is in the lake which burns with fire and sulfur, which is in the second death. And I ain't going to show you that, but the drug sorcery, it's a mistranslation. There's other, most of the other translations show magic spell and trickery and stuff like that. So, and one of the 7 messengers who held the 7 bowls filled with the 7 plagues came to me and spoke with me, saying, "Come, I shall show you the bride, the Lamb's wife." And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the set apart Jerusalem. I've showed you that great and high mountain. And guess what ain't over there in the Middle East, where they say the Holy Land is? No great and high mountain. Maybe off in the distance, but not where the city is. It don't add up. It don't match the descriptions throughout the word. Not even close. But this place over here, it fits it to a T, like a glove, And if it don't fit, you must acquit. You better acquit. So the set apart Jerusalem, descending out of the heaven from the mighty Most High. And I got to keep reminding you, just in case someone just tuned in, out of the heaven, we've seen the heaven rolled up like a scroll. The heaven is the truth. It's the word. It's the truth being made manifest. The city descending out of the truth from the Most High. I assure you, it's not from the sky. I promise you. Prove me wrong if you want to come try. I hope you do. Having the esteem of the mighty Most High, and her light was like a most precious stone. Her light. Now watch the wording. having the esteem of the Most High, and her light was like a most precious stone. And that's one thing you have to understand, is the Most High esteems her. He loves her. He loves this place. And that's why it says those who overcome have it written, the name of the city written on their forehead, because they, if he loves it, if they're his children, guess what? They love it too. Yes. We want all this, the inheritance. We want to dwell with the Most High. Her light was like a most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, like a jasper stone, the tribe of Benjamin. Jasper stone, and what that represents is the opposite of cowardly, the courageous, the bold, the brave, the few, the set apart, those who trample on sling stones. Get it? That's her light. I'm shining it out to you right now. Clear as crystal. It's the truth. Just like that wall art we just seen, you've seen. Go over there and look for stuff that'll prove to you and show you the story of Moses and all, everything out here. Over there, it's all a fraud. I've shown you so much. I've shown you a video where they were putting all the stuff in quote unquote Egypt, all those Sphinx, or not the Sphinx, but those pharaoh looking things on the side of the pyramids or on the side of the cliffs and stuff. That was all had rebar in it and stuff. They put it together. All the stuff about Mount Rushmore, all the stuff I've showed you guys. It's clear as crystal. The truth is. And having a great and high wall, having 12 gates, and at the gates 12 messengers, and names written on them, which are those of the 12 tribes of the children of Yasharal. 3 gates on the east, 3 on the north, 3 on the south, 3 on the west. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 emissaries of the Lamb. And he who spoke with me had a golden measuring rod to measure the city and its gates and its wall. Now you see, most people read this and they just think, oh, I guess he wanted to measure the city. They don't think about how that applies to them. This applies to this word. Verse 15 is there. It's a necessity. You have to understand why verse 15 says what it does if you want to sit down in the kingdom. You can stay here and reign in this kingdom, yeah, all you want. You can keep clocking in, clocking out, grinding it, rocking out in the free world here. So you think, as the walls are closing in, you know, you see it all around. You see WW3 is about to happen here any day, pretty much. It's coming. They're letting you know. Everything that this word, what we've been seeing, what we've been shown, like I say, it hasn't been the prettiest, but all this stuff we've seen, we know. We see where we are. We know what's coming. And we know that it's time to be home. Like my granny used to tell me when I was a kid, I'd always be out too late and stuff at night. And she'd say, she would be bitching at me and she'd say, don't you know that the cows even know when to get home? She would tell me that all the time. Like the cows even know when to get home, grandson. And that's why the word tells you, like he says, even a donkey knows its master's crib, you know. So this is about the prodigal son. This is the story. He's wanting you to come home. And the world largely is just flipping him off. They could care less. They're too occupied with whatever's trending right now. And they know the walls are closing in. They know we're in the end times. But They don't care why verse 15 says what it says, but he's measuring it. This is riddle. This is letting you know you need to be dialed in to the renewed Jerusalem and the renewed earth right now. That Timbuk 3, you know? You need to be thinking about all this stuff and wanting it if you want to sit down in the rain. And that's what's going to prove you. The word tells you how to do that, and that's what everybody does. But the world ain't been reading the word enough, so they're not doing that. They don't have the renewed Jerusalem written on their forehead. They've got something else. And the city lies four-cornered, and its length is as great as its breadth. And he measured the city with the rod, 12,000 stadia. The length and the breadth and the height of it are all equal. Now, most people, when they read verse 16, they're sitting there thinking about how they can draw you what the city looks like, and that ain't got nothing to do with what we just read. It ain't a big cube. It's not a pyramid. It ain't nothing like that. This is a riddle. This is letting you know what you need to do. That you need to come home. Because watch. And he measured its wall 144 forearms, according to the measure of a man, that is, of a messenger. You see how he tells you the messengers are men. They're prophets. The messengers are. And look, the messenger in most translations is angel. Right? Angel. See, of an angel. That is, of an angel. Angelic measurements. Angelic. See, they don't think about it. This is a riddle. 140. Its wall is 140. The 144,000 are those who live. Its wall, inside of that wall is the 144,000. This is a riddle. See, it's not literal. And they're messengers. They're all going to be here. The Lamb, just like I was saying earlier, part of the Lamb is not being cowardly. You must be proclaiming this truth. It must be written on your forehead. We need to be seeing you from miles away and know who you are and what you're about. And everyone's got what they're about on their forehead, don't they? And or on their right arm. They sure do. But the arms of these ones, of the 144,000, they're in the city, and they're messengers. They're proclaiming. They followed the Lamb, so on and so forth. And the structure of its wall was jasper, Benjamin, and the city was clean gold like clear glass. See, and notice the comparisons, the descriptions of this place compared to the descriptions of the city of Babylon. That they're similar, but they distinguish between what's real and what's bullshit. This is gold, clean gold, like clear glass. There's no dross. This is it. When we return here, we sing that song. We follow the Lamb. We come home, and that's the refining. And those who come home are going to be a group of people unlike any the world has ever seen. And the foundation of the wall of the city were adorned with all kinds of precious stones. The first foundation, jasper, second, sapphire, and these are all the stones of the tribes of Yasharal. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. So the gates are pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl. See, the world's always thought that meant that the gates are made of pearl, the pearly gates, you know. But no, this is a riddle. The pearls are great truths. To get into this house, to this reign, you must be searching Berean style for them truths. And the street of the city was clean gold like transparent glass. And I saw no dwelling place in it, for Yahuwah El Shaddai is its dwelling place and the Lamb. That tells me that there ain't going to be no temple like the world thinks. We're just going to live like we're going back to the way the Most High intended us to live. but we're going to be finished. That clean gold, that as clear as glass. We're going to be, because now this generation that comes home, like I said, we're going to come home because we desire it, and we're going to have the information, the knowledge of the Most High to do this, to make it happen. And we're going to have the, like I said, the desire, the motivation. It'll be what drives all of us. And so we won't need all that other stuff that they did before. We won't be begging for a king like they did before. We'll be there with the Most High. We'll understand. And we have all this history, all this word that we've read that the Most High gave us, all the experiences, the evidence of what not to do and what to do. And you know, the cost and the risk and the benefit, you know, all that stuff. We will have seen it all and measured it all. And when we come here, we understand what it is we're doing and who calls the shots. And everything we do, whatever decision we're making, whoever is in this, that sets down the kingdom, all the decisions that are made will be made after they inquire of the Most High. First, you know, up front, the Lamb. And the city had no need of the sun, nor of the moon, to shine in it, for the esteem of the Most High lightened it, and the Lamb is its lamp. See, this is all code. The Lamb is its lamp. It'll be written on your forehead when you realize, you know, what the Messiah did, that it's all about coming in and coming out. What it meant when he got on the donkey and they said Hosanna and they laid the palm branches down, everything. Should be all you want to do. And if you want to live, it's going to be all you want to do. It'll have to be. You best get to it right now. And you need to get on it right now, like yesterday, because you're way behind. You got a lot of ground to make up, let me tell you. And the nations of those who are saved, and the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light. You see, the only people who are going to be saved are those, like I've been describing, who have the city written on their forehead, who that's all they want. That is their goal. That's where what's on their right hand is the city, is the inheritance, is dwelling with the Most High in their midst, in his midst. The true place. Only those. And the sovereigns of the earth bring their esteem into it. And they did. Where I learned all this was from, you know, through Christianity, through the other religions and stuff, you know what I mean? They all talk about this pilgrimage and everything, but they've used like the word to lead astray, and they gave us the counterfeit in 1948, but out of all that, out of that woman clothed in the sun comes the truth. Do you see? And its gates shall not be shut at all by day, for night shall not be there. You see? This is not literal. This is a riddle. That means anytime you want to come look for the truth about this, you can come find it. If you don't find this truth, it's because you didn't want the truth. You couldn't handle the truth. And they shall bring the esteem and the appreciation of the nations into it. That's that great gift, that offering, gift of that offering of righteousness. You offer yourself, you come searching this out, and you come in and come out. You know what it means. You follow the Lamb. That's that appreciation, baby. And there shall by no means enter into it whatever is unclean, neither anyone doing abomination and falsehood, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. That's how you get in the Lamb's book of life. That's how you're in it. If you don't care about the city, you ain't in that book. I don't care what you claim. I don't care what blood you claim to be covered in. If you don't care about your city, you ain't covered in the blood. Do you see? The blood represents the city and coming in and coming out. And yeah, like if someone says, well, what do you worship, the land and the city? No, but if you refuse to even talk about the city, if you don't care and you're sitting there if you're trying to mock and scoff me or trying to shut me up because I'm esteeming the city, well, that means you don't serve the Most High because he has a city. That's the difference. That's what's going to separate the saved from the unsaved, is if you can't come to the city and get your inheritance, you really didn't serve the Most High. It's not about worshiping the land. It's about worshiping the Most High. And that's who I worship. That's who I serve. Don't get it twisted. But only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life shall enter. See, this isn't literal. There's not going to be, he just said the gates aren't shut. So if this is literal and the gates aren't shut, how is it that the unclean don't get through? Because they ain't coming. They don't care about this. They're doing what's abominable. They believe what the abomination that lays waste has told them. Not this truth that they could come find anytime. This proof that ain't nobody safe from. They could come get it. They've seen it. They've been slapped upside the head with it. They don't want it. They want to stay where they are. They want to do what they do and continue on in Babylon. But for us, it's on in the Lamb. We're going to continue on in this reign, in this kingdom, on these mountains, lifting this banner, proclaiming this magnificent, great news of the reign. We're going to continue on in this Lamb, in this word, with it on our thigh, willing to die for this cause, for the team, the squad. In Yahuwah, El Shaddai, our mighty Most High, our righteousness. And next time, we'll get 22.